She couldn't see his badge, but she could feel the chill in his voice. A blind black woman, a treasured walking stick, and an act of public cruelty no one stepped in to stop. What the officer didn't realize was that the woman's son was a federal prosecutor, and what began as humiliation would ignite a reckoning this whole town would feel. Dear listener, this is not just a story. It's a testament to quiet power, to persistence in places where justice rarely knocks. If this is your first time here, share where you're watching from in the comments, and if stories like this make you think, move you, or challenge you, consider subscribing and clicking the bell. We share voices that deserve to be heard every single day. Now, let's begin. Mornings in Williford, Alabama, carry a kind of sacred stillness. Before the city wakes, before car horns stab the air, the world hums at a softer pitch. The wind tiptoes through dogwood trees, the air sharp with the scent of honeysuckle and old stories that if you were out early enough, you'd see her. Evelyn Carter, 74, blind since her mid-40s, walking with a grace most sighted people never find. Wrapped in a rose-colored shawl and guided by her late husband's carved hickory cane, she moved like a river, steady, unhurried, certain. Her steps traced the same route they had for decades, from her small clapboard house, past the corner cafe that smelled like cinnamon buns, across the footbridge that split Williford in two, and into the park that most. She was Miss Evelyn, the lady who hummed gospel tunes at the fountain, the one who told stories with her hands. Few knew her history. Fewer still knew the steel she kept coiled inside her. And no one, outside her family, knew she was the mother of Marcus Carter, Assistant U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. That morning, nothing felt different. She buttoned her coat slow and careful, fingers curling around the cane her husband Raymond had left her. Not just a tool, but a piece of him. She stepped outside, the sun barely breaking the horizon, the air crisp as paper. Her feet followed the path they'd known for years. The park guided her by memory. The rustle of trees before a bend, the way the breeze shifted before the bridge, the familiar rhythm of her cane tapping the sidewalk. Walking wasn't exercise for her. It was control, it was connection, it was freedom in a world that often tried to take it. She didn't know that this morning, freedom was about to be tested. It happened in full daylight. Evelyn was halfway through her walk when she heard boots. Heavy, deliberate, not the light step of joggers or the scuff of someone walking a dog. The kind of steps that change the air before a word is spoken. "Ma'am," a voice said, sharp, flat, not quite a greeting. She turned toward it, sensing the presence before her. "I'm fine, thank you," she said calmly. "Just walking." "You out here alone?" he asked. But it wasn't curiosity. It was a challenge wrapped in concern. "I know this park better than most folks," she answered, still polite. A short, humorless laugh followed. "Maybe that's part of the problem." She stayed silent. She knew men like this, the ones who tried to chip away at dignity piece by piece. "You should be more careful," he added, stepping closer. "World's not as nice as it used to be." "No," she replied, chin lifting, "it's not." And then it happened. Before she could react, his hand closed around her cane. The tug was quick, rough. She resisted, but the strength in her fingers wasn't enough. "What are you doing?" she asked, panic tightening her voice. The answer came not in words but in sound, a brutal, splintering crack. Her cane, Raymond's cane, snapped clean in two. The officer, badge number 385, later identified as Officer Daniel Rourke, tossed the pieces at her feet. "Next time, ma'am, don't get smart. Some folks won't be as patient as me." And he walked away. For a moment, Evelyn stood still, her world tilting. Around her, she could hear the murmurs, feel the stares. Nobody spoke up. Nobody moved to help. She bent slowly, painfully, gathering the two halves from the pavement as if picking up the bones of something sacred. She walked home, palms out, trusting the air and her memory. Past the fountain, past the cafe, past the people who had chosen silence. At home, she wrapped the broken cane in a linen cloth and placed it on the table. She sat beside it, letting the reality settle like dust in a quiet room. James Porter, the young man who ran the food cart by the bridge, had seen it all. 19, scared, and still figuring out how to survive in a town like Williford, he hadn't stepped in. But he'd done something else. He'd recorded it. That afternoon, he knocked on her door. Without a word, he pressed play. She listened, every snap and syllable burning into her memory. When the video ended, he whispered, "I'm sorry." "It's not your fault," she said. Then, after a pause, "But it is someone's." 3 days later, there was a knock at her door. "Mrs. Carter?" "Detective Lisa Moreno, Alabama Bureau of Investigation." "May I come in?" The woman on her porch was tall, mid-40s, plain-clothed but sharp-eyed. "We've had multiple complaints about Officer Rourke," she said, "but none have stuck. No witnesses, no footage, until now. I hear there's a video." Evelyn hesitated. "If you're willing to testify," Moreno continued, "we could bring years of his behavior into the light. It won't be easy, he's protected. But it can be done." Evelyn thought of the way the park went silent that morning, of all the people who'd looked away. Then she nodded. "I'll do it." When Marcus saw the video, he booked the next flight south. At a small coffee shop outside town, Marcus, Evelyn, James, and Detective Moreno met. "We've got enough to press charges," Moreno said. "But in a place like this, your name matters. People know who you are, and that changes the pressure." "I don't want this to be about me," Marcus said. "It's not," Moreno replied. "It's about what your name stands for." That evening, the Williford Community Center was packed. Marcus stepped to the podium. "My name is Marcus Carter. My mother, Evelyn Carter, has lived here for 30 years. Last week, she was humiliated in public by the very people sworn to protect her. This isn't just about one broken cane. It's about how easily we let dignity be stripped from those we should honor most." He held up the cane, its jagged edges catching the light. "This is evidence. This is a symbol. And starting now, it's going to speak louder than the silence that let it break." The crowd rose, not in anger but in resolve. The pressure worked. At a public hearing, Marcus faced Officer Rourke across the room. The broken cane sat in a clear evidence bag before him. He played the video. The snap echoed through the chamber. The oversight board, usually silent, leaned in. "Officer Rourke," the chair said, "do you deny this happened?" His lawyer claimed it was a safety check, that he hadn't realized it was a mobility device. Marcus' voice cut in. "A trained officer can't recognize a blind woman's cane? Let's not insult this board, or the public." Outside, more people came forward, a retired teacher, a high school student, a shop owner. Different stories, same officer. By the end of the hearing, the board announced Rourke's suspension and referred the case to the district attorney. Weeks later, Evelyn walked through Williford Park with a new cane, oak polished, her initials carved into the handle. Near the bridge, a new bench gleamed under the sun. A bronze plaque read, "In honor of Evelyn Carter, for every step taken with grace and every voice lifted for justice." She ran her fingers over the words. The crowd watched as she Saturday. Marcus spoke quietly. "My mother taught me that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it walks, steady and unshaken. And it leaves a path others can follow." In Williford, a place once content to look away, people were watching now. Speaking now. Walking now. Because one morning's cruelty had lit a fire that no silence could smother.